Hello and welcome to the HBCU Season Recap presented by Allstate. It's bowl season, ladies and gentlemen.
It is.
We're very excited to be here. I'm very excited because Harry Lyles Jr. is in Bristol, Connecticut.
You know, it doesn't happen often, but when it does, I gotta say, you could say it's a gift, right?
I guess.
She knows.
Also, I'm Christine Williamson. Hello. Happy to be here as we get ready for the Cricket Celebration Bowl. It's the 8th annual.
Yes.
Very excited about this. We got the MEAC champ versus the SWAC champ. Howard taking on FAMU. How are you? What are you looking forward to when it comes to this matchup?
First off, this is a very good matchup between two historically great programs with both academic and obviously athletic success. The thing that I'm very interested in this year to see, because we've talked about Florida A&M being, we're not doing that today. Looking forward to them being the team to beat this year, right? Mm-hmm. The same way that Jackson State was the last couple of years. They probably didn't get the more widespread national attention that they otherwise would have gotten because they don't have Deion Sanders, which whatever. But this has been the team to beat. They've only lost once or twice this season. They are deep. They've got the SWAC Offensive Player of the Year, the SWAC Defensive Player of the Year, and the Coach of the Year, Willie Simmons. So this is their time to shine. The thing that I'm looking forward to or interested in, can they finish the deal in the way that Jackson State did not for 2 years in a row?
A SWAC team hasn't won the bowl since 2016, but FAMU has a 70% chance to win this matchup. So we're very excited about that. That's happening in about 29 minutes. We're going to get you ready for that. But also, I mentioned it's bowl season, right? We already know what we're doing for New Year's. Me and Harry are going to be at the Sugar Bowl, watching Texas and Washington play. But, you know, our New Year's 6 is looking pretty strong. Any other matchups that you're excited to watch?
Honestly, that Cotton Bowl, I think, is going to be great. That Missouri team, I still, for whatever reason, I guess it's because they're Missouri, people just haven't given them their due. That has been a really good team. Obviously, they gave Georgia everything that they could handle. I think that Peach Bowl is going to be a great matchup as well. And honestly, even though there's going to be a ton of opt-outs in that Orange Bowl, I still think the players that are going to be on the field for both Georgia and Florida State, you're going to see two teams with players that feel like they have something to prove, especially those boys from Tallahassee. Yeah,
for sure. Both teams obviously thought that they would be in the CFP, which you wouldn't get the opt-outs if, in fact, they were playing for the championship. No. But it should still be a very good one. Very excited about that. Let's talk about the season as a whole, because a lot of things went down this season.
It did.
So we're going to go through some things that we remember that happened this season, starting with, and I feel like we're going to say his name maybe a couple of times, when Coach Prime in Colorado took over the entirety of college football this season. It was so fun to go there out to Boulder and kind of see what they were doing. But, you know, it kind of went downhill towards the end.
Yeah, kind of. But you talk about a genuine moment in time. Right? Game day, we hadn't been out there in I don't know how long. And just every celebrity that you could have possibly thought. We saw Omarosa.
Yeah, that was weird. I don't know why she was there.
I couldn't remember where I knew her from, and I look over at Christine and I'm like, hey, who? Right.
And
she was
Omarosa.
It's Omarosa.
I don't know why.
The most random collection of people on the sideline for that game. That was bigger than college football.
Yeah.
That was a moment in American pop culture history. Right? Nothing that we really saw during the year felt quite like that.
Right.
Really.
I feel like that was how every game was early on. When we were there, Lil Wayne was there. Like you said, there was
Offset.
A ton of celebrities there. There was that one comedian that's like a TikTok comedian. I don't know his name, but we saw him at the Falcons game the week before. So there was just a ton of people there. It was actually
Desi
wild.
Banks, Georgia State graduate, by the way. Put respect on his name.
Yeah, there he is.
I thought you were thinking of the other guy, the young blonde-headed dude that none of us knew, but apparently had
a TikToker or something, or a Twitcher.
Which I guess we're kind of showing our age.
Yeah. But, no, I'm not old. Anyways, let's go to something else that we were actually there for. It is when Texas beat Alabama, and this was honestly all the controversy when it comes to the final CFP rankings, right? Because Texas, obviously, they took down Alabama. It was very early. This was in September, right? This was only week 2. But they couldn't allow Alabama to jump Texas because of that. So a lot went down on this day, even though both teams look a lot different today.
They do. And look, I'm going to say this again. I've been saying this for months, and I said this before the game even happened. Had this game happened 3 or 4 weeks later, than when we actually played it. I think Alabama wins that game because Jalen Milroe just didn't have game reps.
Right, yeah.
They really didn't. And you saw how Alabama ended up playing towards the end of the year. Obviously, that we know the Iron Bowl was close, and a lot of people try to hold that against Alabama.
Right.
Dude,
Rivalry.
it's one of the biggest rivalry games in college football. When you have that sort of environment, you have to throw everything out.
Right, exactly.
Right? No matter how good Alabama is in any given year, or Auburn, vice versa, whatever. But, obviously this led to Florida State getting left out, and I'm not sure that was the best thing for college football.
Everybody hates it. A lot of ACC people hate it, obviously. Let's talk a little bit more about that Florida State team that got left out, because they absolutely took over the entire ACC conference. They snatched it from Clemson, which is very unfortunate for people like me that went to that school. But they did, in fact, get left out of the CFP, even though they were undefeated and won the conference. 13-0 this season. And as we mentioned, they're going to be playing in the Orange Bowl against Georgia. So your thoughts on the situation?
Look, so as somebody that was in the room, there was not a lot. There was definitely nervous feelings, right? Yeah. Anxious energy throughout. And we did most of it from the Champions Club at Doak Campbell Stadium. Yeah. So big venue obviously holds all the players, staff, whatever. People were nervous, but there was still that thought of just like, okay, even with the current playoff system, it has been a combination of both the most deserving and the best teams.
Right.
And they just, I think that they thought, because, we kept hearing them float, oh, well, it's the best teams, not the most deserving.
Right.
That the CFP was really putting that ball on the tee. I didn't think they were going to swing. They took a big old swing.
That's insane.
And left Florida State out. But I knew they were in trouble when I saw Texas pop up at 3. And then oddly enough, so in my IFB when I was there, because we were the only media there for that show, I heard it 7 seconds before that A went across the screen. So I heard that. Let me tell you something. I have never just held my breath and waited for something to happen the way that I did in that moment. And I don't think anything can truly capture the many different feelings in that room.
That's wild.
That
is insane. I think that we were talking about this on our rankings reaction show. The thing about this season and the CFP committee deciding to put Alabama and Texas there at 3 and 4, I think it is because of the fact that there's no precedent. Next year, we're going to 12 teams. So they know that they can, because this isn't the first time that we saw a school that isn't necessarily the best team. If you're going to say, obviously, they don't have their quarterback, Jordan Travis, make it into the CFP. We've seen plenty of teams that we don't think is one of the 4 best teams in the country make it into the CFP because they were the most deserving team.
Yeah.
But because this is the last time that we're having 4 teams in the CFP, I believe that the committee was like, who cares? We're not setting a precedent with this decision.
Exactly. They weren't going to have to answer for it. And also, since we're doing this, can we just say, if you're one of these people that's throwing out, oh, well, TCU got blown out in the national championship. Hey, bro, you realize that they beat Michigan before they did that?
Exactly.
Right? Like, it's not like they didn't literally play their way into that situation.
Right, yeah.
And funny example, just real quick, because the week of all the conference championship games, all of us on Around the Horn, except for the great Clinton Yates, picked Oregon to beat Washington. Because Oregon, for the last 6 weeks, looked like a better team than Washington.
Yeah.
If we would have picked the playoff then because we thought Oregon was better than Washington, we would have made a mistake because Washington out-physicaled them for 60 minutes.
Right, yeah.
So that's why, to me, makes this still such an issue, even though, yes, Florida State might not be at their strongest. You still have to play the games on the field, man.
Yeah.
It's got to matter. You can't just go off of the assumption, well, we think you're going to lose.
Also, the week before, let's all talk about the rankings the week before, when Florida State, obviously teams above them, did win or did lose, but Florida State went up.
Yeah.
So and that was when they lost Jordan Travis. So you guys rank them higher after they lose their quarterback, but then keep them out of the CFP. It doesn't make any sense. We can talk about this forever. Let's move on to some of the best moments that we remember going down in this college football season. We were on game day every single week, on the road every single week, and it was a grand old time.
With our
so
boy,
let's talk
Harry
about
Douglas,
Harry Douglas. Shout out to him, who's not here right now. So let's talk about some of the best memories that we had this season. You start us off.
What is my first one?
Duke.
Duke? Oh my gosh, man. All right, so it's not just Duke. It is the Duke mascot getting absolutely taken out. Facilitated by our boy, Joe G, possibly. We're still working to confirm that with sources. But oh my goodness gracious, in the 3 years that we have been doing this show, not has there been a moment, I mean, look at this. There has not been a moment where I was just like, wait a second, that was super not supposed to happen.
That was insane.
Not only could you just feel the impact, not of just the collision, but him hitting the ground.
It was so insane.
It was like, is he okay?
It was actually insane. I don't think I'll ever get over it.
No,
I was
never.
so shook in that moment.
Never.
And then also, I talked about it on the Round the Horn because it was actually one of the most craziest.
Yes.
That was the craziest thing ever. By the way, I'm matching.
Glowing too, by the way.
I'm matching the background specifically because Harry Lyles told me to. But yeah, this didn't make any sense.
No, not at all. Not
I
at
will
all.
say too, HD did a really good job. He was like, he went and interviewed the guy, and then he was like, "You are disqualified."
Yeah,
It was great.
We need to make that a TikTok sound, honestly.
So good. It was so good. Okay, so let's see. What is our next memory? Oh, Washington.
Yes. Look, for all the crowds that we have every week, like we see some, obviously App State last year is one that stands out to me as a really good one. But when we go out west, let me tell you something, man.
I thought that was a real duck.
These people,
is it?
That they're already camping out a day or two ahead of time, and then the show starts at 5:30 local time, or at least we start at 5:30 local time. You know, major game day starts at 6.
Right.
The crowd was full at 5 o'clock in the morning that you would typically see a crowd, say, on the East Coast only gets at 11:30 when, you know, we're bringing out the guest picker. We're doing, you know, the game picks, the headgear, all that type of stuff like that. Washington was ready to go Friday night.
It was beautiful. Like the backdrop was so beautiful. I mean, obviously it was just a building, but it was lit. It was gorgeous. It was a little chilly, but it felt good. And it was a really good weekend in general. It was gorgeous out there in Seattle, so it was a really good time. Another place that was beautiful, and I think this might have been our most beautiful backdrop, we talked about it a little bit earlier. When we were at Colorado, which that's how you say it, it was honestly Colorado. That's how Colorado.
All right, we'll talk about that later.
That's how they say it. And I lived in Colorado.
Okay, well, they're wrong.
And that's how they said it. Okay. But this was so beautiful. We had the mountains behind us.
Yes.
And it was great, too, because, you know, it was obviously at a time where Colorado was at their peak of the season.
Christine.
And sorry about it. And we got to wear some shades.
Yeah.
We put on our Coach Prime shades. They weren't the actual ones, which was very unfortunate, but we got some sunglasses on, and we really embraced our inner prime. It was a good time.
Yeah, honestly, like we talked about this being a moment in time and something that was just so unique.
Yeah.
I feel very fortunate to do this every weekend, no matter where we are at. But that just felt like something different. Like that was a celebration of something that, you know, I think a lot of us want to see Coach Prime succeed at this level, especially because of the varying reasons that people doubt him. But, you know, to me, the shades, like the swag, everything with it, like this is college football. Like this is football. This is a game. This is a sport. It's supposed to be fun. To me, everything that they embody and everything that they are doing is fun. And that's why you saw how many people, celebrities, again, whether it was The Rock, Offset, whoever, Omarosa, coming out, hanging out, having a good time. Like, that's what it should be all about.
It would have been really fun to go there 2 weeks later when they played USC, too.
Oh, my gosh.
Because that was celebrity-packed, for sure. Okay, so you mentioned the fact that Washington was a really good crowd.
Yes.
The best crowd of the season was?
James Madison. Oh, my goodness gracious. So their SID had called me like 2 days before, and he was like, Harry, I don't think like any of you guys even realize like everybody's going to be there. And he's just like, just trust me. Because I was like, all right, I mean, like, it's going to be a big crowd because it's a place that we don't go to. Like, typically, when we go somewhere that we don't go to often, it's going to be a big crowd no matter what. I can't remember what the official number was.
26,000.
But it was, and I think it might have been like a few hundred on top of that.
Yeah.
Like
somewhere around there.
Truly, like, I took a picture from where the production office was looking out towards the stage. Like, it looked like a presidential inauguration. Like, it was just a sea of people.
Yeah, it was wild.
And again, so we mentioned Washington being out there early and having a noon crowd at 5 a.m.
Right.
They had a noon crowd at 9 a.m. when it was time to go. Like, we've never seen that on the East Coast.
They definitely did. And there's these little areas where there's like a barricade so that people can't obviously come onto the game day set, etc. All of the areas that had a barricade were like 10 rows of people deep, which literally never happens. There were times, because that's where we exit, we'll walk past that. We can usually find a little area that has nobody there. There was absolutely not one spot on all of the all surrounding areas that you could just walk through with no people there. It was a great time.
And it helped that the Jonas Brothers were there too.
Oh, the Jonas Brothers were there. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I didn't get to
Which
see that
I didn't
part.
realize they were popping until, they came up and everybody was like really excited. I was like, all right, I guess I've been missing out.
I don't know the Jonas Brothers songs. I probably do, but
You probably do.
We'll talk about that later. Anyways. Let's take a look at the good hands plays from this season presented by Allstate. We start with a 91-yard touchdown catch. Devin Smith. Yeet.
From Davius Richard,
Yes, of
the
course.
star of last year's Celebration Bowl. NCCU upsetting Jackson State for all the hype that we saw last year. That's why, again, this game is not a gimme today for FAMU. Davius Richard came out, showed out. You might see that today from Quentin Williams and Howard.
What did you say he runs like?
Madden 04 player.
You said
Need less shoulders, young man.
You mentioned him, Quentin Williams, with a pass completion to Casey Hawthorne, 30-yard gain versus Norfolk State.
They're going to need a few of these today. Look, Howard's got a shot. You're also going to see a lot of Jarrett Hunter, their running back, who actually leads the team in touchdowns. But, hey, man, if they could put a few of those together today, Howard's in business.
Yeah, that would be very beautiful. Number 3, Keyshawn Johnson, not to be confused with Keyshawn Johnson. Damon Stewart, 47-yard touchdown pass to his guy versus Alabama A&M.
Alabama State started off the season 1-3. It was looking real bad for them. Finished with a 7-4 record in the SWAC East. Just a great turnaround there by Eddie Robinson Jr. Hopefully they can carry that momentum over in the next season.
Do you think he was named after Keyshawn Johnson?
I mean, if he was,
Different
probably,
spelling.
Yeah, different. So can you call him Key? I don't think you could call him Key because it's not K-E-Y.
I think you can.
You could, I guess.
All right, let's go to Aaron Allen, who had the 55-yard touchdown pass to Montario Hunt. That's versus Jackson State.
A great play that resembles a lot of great plays. This, for me, is honestly, Christine, is just an excuse to bring up what next year will be 30 years removed from Steve McNair's incredible, honestly, at any level of college football, one of the best quarterback seasons we've ever seen.
All right, our final one, Jeffrey McKelton with the interception.
Clean.
That is very clean.
One of the many plays, unfortunately, that led to Hugh Jackson's firing at Grambling State, which, if you know HBCU football, you know the Bayou Classic is one of the best days on the calendar, with Grambling being one of those teams. They're going to need to find a way to bring that program back because they have not been playing up to their standard.
Yeah, we'll see what they are able to do next season. Let's talk a little bit more about this matchup. So FAMU, they got a swag pack of gear, which, I mean, yeah, it's a bowl game. So take a look at this. All right, guys, let's talk a little bit more about this matchup. And we're going to welcome in two people who know a lot about not only this matchup, but these schools in particular. That is Tiffany Green and Jay Walker, who will be on the call tonight. And I said that you guys know a lot about these schools because you guys are trying to be friendly and unbiased, but it's hard. Because Jay, you went to Howard. Tiffany, you went to FAMU. So what is it going to be like in the booth tonight?
The boxing gloves are off. No, but seriously, we are here to be professional. There's been so much buildup. We have been jabbing at each other all throughout the week. But when kickoff happens, we'll be civilized.
Yeah.
We'll be professional.
I think the key thing is, we don't want to take away from the players down on the field. We'll have our own little beef up here, and, we'll be excited for our schools either way or another. But it's all about the kids that are playing this game, this opportunity, this tremendous stage they have to showcase their talents, and also brag about two of the best HBCUs in the country. Maybe one's better than the other, but two of the best in the country.
Two incredibly strong brands. You just had to do that, didn't you? You just can't resist. He can't. It's like that all the time.
It is absolutely about the product on the field. And speaking of which, what are some of the key matchups in this game that you guys are looking forward to as we kick off another year here at the Celebration Bowl?
I think, first and foremost, it starts down in the trenches. I know that's not the sexy thing to say, but we both kind of know Florida A&M has a championship caliber defense, one of the best in the country, and it's their defensive line that really gets after the quarterback. So if they can have their way defensively on the line of scrimmage, it's going to be a tough day for Howard. So that means the key for Howard is keeping their quarterback, Quentin Williams, upright. When he's upright and protected well, he's a very dangerous passer. So I think that's going to be the key. How many hits does Florida A&M get on Quentin Williams?
All right, so both of these teams have very explosive offenses leading their respective conferences in points per game. Can we expect this matchup to be a very high-scoring matchup?
I don't know that I'm expecting it to be high scoring. I think whoever gets out on the board first sets the tempo. Florida A&M has done that very well this season. But I will say that dark cloud defense for Florida A&M and the wonderful defense for Howard, I think it's going to be a lot closer than people expect. And I think we'll probably see, 24, 28 points, no higher on either side.
Yeah, I'm going to say if it's a high-scoring game, then that's advantage Howard University. Florida A&M is not used to giving up a lot of points. I think that's the key. But in this game, the Cricket Celebration Bowl, over the years, I mean, we've seen a team that came in averaging 45 points a game win by only scoring 10 points. So you never know what you're going to get. It brings out the best of everybody. And these games have always been close since the history of this bowl.
Yeah, they've always been close. And again, a lot of the talk about HBCU football this year has been, hey, this is the follow-up after, Jackson State and Deion Sanders and all the extra attention that brought to HBCU football. Some of us have always been here, right? I think everybody here knows that. How do you guys feel that we've done in the year since this first year without Deion Sanders and all the extra Jackson State hype? And how do we sort of continue to push this forward and continue to build upon and show people what HBCU football is all about?
Well, I think today is one of those great examples, right? Two brand new teams, two incredibly strong brands, as Jay referenced earlier, coming on this national stage and reminding people just the reach that they have, the wonderful alumni that have come out of this university and the great football tradition. Jay was a part of that with Howard University, Florida A&M winning a national championship back in 1978. It's just a great reminder time for others and stepping out of the shadow of Coach Prime and now allowing for the opportunity for others to take center stage.
Yeah, and not to take a shot at Coach Prime, but when Jackson State was here, they never set the attendance record. The attendance record was established and still established well beyond Jackson State playing in this game. So the brand has been here, the culture has been here, the spotlight was great, but the beat goes on, as they like to say in music.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about these teams and the fact that they get to showcase themselves in the Cricket Celebration Bowl. It's huge if whatever team wins this matchup, but how big of a showcase is it for the players in these teams individually?
I like to start off, first of all, each institution gets $1 million. So that's a huge payday for a game you can win. If you think about it, during the season, you go out there and you play money games and you're not expected to win, but they get an opportunity to win this football game, win an HBCU national championship. I think, one of the key players to watch out for, a little star power, is a guy by the name of Eden James. He's the son of Pro Football Hall of Famer Edgerrin James, just a sophomore running back. But if he makes an impact on this game today, it'll be a good day for the Bison.
You talk about some players to watch. I think of the players of the year in their respective conferences. Kenny Gallup, who has just been balling this season for Howard University, as safety for them. On the other side, you think about Isaiah Major, the defensive player of the year, and the swag Jeremy Musa. We already mentioned him on the offensive side. But not only that, it's been a world-class experience for them. I mean, deluxe. And it started midweek, and they have had all types of activities and events to participate in. And in a chance to talk with the players yesterday, they said, wow, we feel like we're important. We feel like we're seen, we feel big, and we're ready to show everybody what we got.
And, and we've got a great show that's coming up, too. So besides the football, we're going to be joined by the Vice President of the United States that's coming on the show. Oh, wow. We're going to announce the winner of the inaugural Band of the Year competition that's taking place. We got officials from the NCAA here, star power. So there's a lot of things going on. The student athletes had a great week. It's like a bowl environment, but the viewers are going to have a great time checking out what we do for the celebration.
Wait a minute, Jay. The alumni had a great time, too.
Absolutely.
I mean, they've been out kicking it. The parties, the scene, the excitement.
Yep.
Come on now. You already know what it's like here down in the A.
And there's no doubt who won the battle of the parties. No doubt who won the battle party.
Yeah, so when you win it, you don't even have to say it. Exactly.
I guess so. Hey, but before we let you guys go, look, obviously I did the MEAC swag challenge with you guys at the beginning of the year.
We missed you, man. You didn't come back to the A.
I know it, man.
Come on.
But hey, listen, we're not letting y'all go without each of you saying something nice about the other school. So whoever wants to go first, y'all can decide, but we got to hear it from both sides.
Florida A&M has a great band.
Howard University has been a beacon of excellence for African Americans for decades.
Look at my cousin. Look at that.
That was beautiful. That was really beautiful. I'm very excited to see what happens post game because one of y'all.
Patty Tendergrass over here. Patty Tendergrass. That's all I'm gonna say.
The Marching 100.
Someone's gonna get a win, so we'll see what happens post game with y'all. And if do you guys have any bets or anything like that? Is anything on the line here?
No.
Bragging rights over this Rattler for a year is more than sufficient, more than money can buy. So I'm looking forward to collecting that bet.
Eat crow.
Okay. Beautiful. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Enjoy the game today.
All right.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Okay, so this matchup is going to start very shortly, Harry Lyles. So I feel like we should pledge our allegiance to a team.
Yeah, I'm going with FAMU. You got the SWAC offensive and defensive players in the year on your team. And to me, the key here is going to be the depth. Like Jackson State had all the shiny toys last year, and obviously anything could happen in this game. Like, people should not look at Howard's record and think, oh, man, Florida A&M is going to have an easy time here. I'm going with the Rattlers, though.
Okay, so I just decided, actually this morning, that I'm going to a Yale-Howard basketball game on January 3rd. So I maybe was leaning towards Howard, but I have to go with FAMU.
Yeah, and you're from Florida.
I'm from Florida.
Yeah.
My mom spent a lot of time there. She went to FSU, so she spent a lot of time
tall,
at FAMU. So I'm going to go with the Rattlers on this one, unfortunately. I feel like this is bulletin board material. Luckily, the game's right now. So
It is.
So the players can actually see
It is.
it.
I also have one more pick for this game, by the way.
What?
They didn't do this at the MEAC SWAC Challenge. They got to play Atomic Dog in a stadium. If you know, you know.
I was going to make a sound, but I'm not going to do that. Anyways, enjoy the matchup, guys. It's going to be great. The game starts literally right now. If you're watching in the app, go on and authenticate. Watch it right here, right now. Thank you guys for watching the HBCU Season Recap presented by Allstate. We'll see you guys next time.
Yay.
It's bowl season.